So I am Mayor Watt, the mayor of ohmTown. And each one of these little episodes that I put together really is nothing more than an exercise in vamping and random discussion. And really, at this point, it's just an hour of me talking about the various bits of news that my site ingests each day. Hundreds of articles, if not thousands. I really don't count how many. I just go through it and I filter what I'm interested in into these categories at the top of the page. You'll see them over there it's the other way and that way. Man, I never get this down. Anyway, it's all the stuff over there. I'm gonna turn this music down a little bit more. Should still be able to hear it, but at any rate, pardon the mess behind me. There's a little bit of a mess over there. Doggone it. Still never going to get this. I'll figure out one of these days how this all works. Well, at any rate, some interesting turn of events have occurred wherein, while I happen to be just chatting about DMCA and licensing that I've had in the past that allowed me supposedly to stream music, I just couldn't record the VODs because you need individual copyright permission for each song or video or whatever so that you can record it in history, store it, and make it on demand. There are other streamers much larger than me, obviously, right? I'm just a baby in the grand scheme of things, and Mama and Papa Streamer are streaming things that if I were caught doing it I'd be pursued, right? If the copyright holder found out about it, or if Twitch found out about it, I'd probably be summarily dismissed. A strike would appear like instantaneously, perhaps. I don't know. Maybe there's so many others that are doing it that it just hasn't risen to that level. But I know that some major streamers have already been either suspended or now banned. Who knows how long the ban will last. But I know that there are options for these streamers, right? These bigger streamers will be able to go somewhere else. YouTube will pay an arm and a leg. Although, if you get kicked off of a platform, a streamer only has two options, really. Either strike up their own page and stream from there, which is very expensive per month, or get courted by some platform so that more people come over to that platform, right? Facebook Live or YouTube. Mixer's DOA, so that's not going to happen. Maybe the people who started Mixer could come back and start Mixer again, but stay dedicated to that service, right? Don't sell it to somebody who is going to pay an arm and a leg, but then can it? Believe me, I know how that goes. I didn't get an arm and a leg for my projects, but I certainly watched as the people couldn't maintain it. So down it goes. And ultimately down goes that company. Took longer than I expected, but when you have momentum and you don't have a large cost of living, you can pretty much tread water almost in perpetuity, particularly if you're abusive of your finances. I don't know. But in this case, some big streamers are streaming copyrighted work. DMCA is a pretty serious thing. I said in my other VODs, it's a battering ram. It is a bully. Do I agree with DMCA takedown being so life altering, right? because I think that you don't come to my channel or anybody's channel just to watch the movie or listen to the music. Sure, some might. And when somebody big does something like stream Avatar, first off, I go, what? What would make you think that it's okay to do that? But secondly, if they wanted to come at you, they being the rights holders, you have without a doubt violated copyright. And they can come at you with charges of $200,000 or $150,000 and years in jail, or a combination thereof. And if they can prove that you are aware of the violation, they can really throw the book at you. So it's going to cost a lot, but everybody loves a train wreck. Everybody loves watching the train wreck happen. And if it's in slower motion, that's even better. I don't know. I don't think that anybody's rights should be trampled on. I think that it should be a reasonable expense for somebody to license streaming something. But there's a solution for streaming movies, right? You can watch them together through the service that I mentioned a couple of days ago. I forgot the name already. Wherein, although I'm hosting it, you are streaming it from your own service. So everybody's happy, right? We all get to hang out together. This is something that I had been working on 25 years ago, where everybody could hang out in a virtual room, watch their own material, but we're linked together in a chat. We can all hang out and talk via chat. Twitch has done a really good job in a watch party concept, except that not everything is available as a watch party, and it isn't streaming from your own service. Now, there's other issues with that. In some way, it's not very conducive because you have lag that throws you out of sync with everybody else. You have to put a timer up. This other service, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. 1 second. It's let me see if I can pull it up. I'm really sorry for the lag. Like I said, I don't prep these things. Basically, it's a stream of consciousness and this website. Yeah, there's a couple of articles. There's one called Teleparty. That it used to be called Netflix Party. That's not what this is, the one that I was talking about. I'll have to find it. It's kind of, and there's one called Stream Together. Kind of brand new. Kinda. Yeah, I can't find it. So sorry. Yeah, I can't find it easily. But anyway, I'll hunt it down, and maybe on the next stream we can talk about it. But the idea of streaming copyrighted work and waiting to see what happens with the DMCA when only a few strikes can lead to your complete dismissal. What did they say? If you accumulate 3 copyright strikes, your account may be terminated. Right? Yeah. There's a few that are streaming stuff right now that I'm sure violates copyright. And at some point, either the service is going to come down or the rights holders are going to find out and come down. And it's really a lose-lose there, right? You're not going to be able to fight this in any real substantial way. And the real problem here is that it's this arcane machination. It's a wizard casting this spell, and you never know what's really going to happen. I mean, it's like Spider-Man No Way Home. You think you have a grasp on things, yet something screws it all up, and no, you don't have the rights to do X, Y, or Z. You have the rights to stream it, but you don't have the rights to do a VOD. You have to get the individual copyrights permission, rights holders permission to do a VOD of whatever it is that you were streaming. But then embedded in there might be some song or a segment of video that isn't protected by your license to stream whatever it might be. And instead of treating that little bit as incidental, which is something that I mentioned previously, you end up on the wrong side of copyright. And you never want to be on the wrong side of copyright because it's a very lucrative legal field. And the attorneys that represent these rights holders are powered by the millions upon millions of dollars that are dedicated to the ecosystem of movies and music. Yeah, there are a lot of music makers out there. Not as many movie makers out there, but all of them have copyright. The moment that a work is embodied in some way, there's a copyright on it. Using it without permission. And somebody said, well, it's on YouTube. I read somebody saying that, well, it's on YouTube, so that's not how copyright works. It may be on YouTube, and you have the ability to go to that source and watch it. Right? So, for instance, today, I was halfway through a British show called Time Team, where they go to some location and they dig for 3 days somebody's backyard, and they find out that there's a Roman or medieval, like way back, Roman and medieval history there. Halfway through it, and I remembered something that was said, and I went back to the beginning of the video, and that's when I noticed it was somebody else and not Time Team. Somebody else had ripped a copy of this off of the Time Team's channel and was playing it on theirs. So naturally, I got to go, because I believe that a rights holder should maintain their rights, should be able to reap the reward from the hard work that they did just for not just the show, but for all of the other people that had worked on it and all of the marketing that had gone into it and building a good name. It's called goodwill, right? So you should benefit from your goodwill. That's why when I do consulting for people, I don't run around and scream that I'm the one that helped save their business, or I did this, or I did that. No, it's on them if they want to talk about it, sure. Right? Good, bad, ugly, whatever it might be. It's on them if they want to talk about it. But my contract says I will not benefit other than what I am compensated for by the work that I do for your organization. Right? If I go in and I cheerlead a bit of technology, I won't run around and say, hey, I helped pivot this company to be more efficient and effective and capable. I didn't go in there and maximize their strategic goals. I won't even talk about it to people. If somebody asks what I do for a living, I'm a strategic management consultant. I'm an intellectual property developer. Right now, I'm a streamer, amongst other things. Don't get me wrong, I'm not just a streamer yet. I would love to. So if you stumble across my channel, follow. And if you want to subscribe, awesome. I'm not a partner. I'm not an affiliate. I'm just starting out. I'm on day, 8 now? Yeah. It's the 8th. I'm losing track already. But I think everybody should benefit from the work that they do. Well, if you can't afford it, I understand that, but find a legal way to consume that product, because the money that goes into a product that you pay for, that I pay for, that we pay for, goes to feed people. All of those people that worked, and there's hundreds on any show, let alone top tier movies. Right? There's a whole ecosystem there. And then somebody who comes along and streams it online and makes $1 million plus a year. Are they championing a cause? Are they the Robin Hood of copyright? Playing the movie or the music so that people can benefit from it? I might hear a little voice in the back saying, okay, boomer, but that's not how it is. Right? All of these people who are consuming individually, I could care less, right? You can't afford it. You find somebody or a way to consume it and it's free. You're not on anybody's radar, right? En masse, we all are, right? We're all being watched for copyright violations. But when you're producing it, it's a different animal. You're gaining all of that benefit by giving it to somebody else, but you're not paying for it for the 10,000 people that might be watching. And that's really where it's wrong. Because individuals are just individuals, and there's a lot of them. There's a lot of individuals that are literally consuming without compensating people for it. And they love the movies or the music or whatever it is. They're not sampling it and going, God, I really like that movie. I'm going to go and pay, $10 or $20. That's not what happens. So what's really the solution here? The real solution here is to allow licensing in a simple way, simple and efficient. Let me go to a clearinghouse and select a movie that I want to stream. And I can lay down how many people I can say. I typically have an audience of 500 people. I want to pay the price for 500 people, and it's reasonable. It's not $150,000, which is going to be the price that somebody's going to have to pay per instance of copyright violation. Well, give me a reasonable price. Oh, it's going to cost $5,000 to stream to 500 people, or 5,000 people, I should say. Something reasonable, right? $2 a user, fine. I'll stream it. I'll keep a track of the number of viewers that are unique to my channel for the streaming time frame, and I'll pay $2 per person. That's fine. But when I have to go and contact Doctor Strange to cast a spell to figure out what the hell is going on with copyright so that I can actually stream some music. I have to go to 3 different organizational bodies, and still I'm not copyright protected by 3 licenses, each one costing $250 plus. I'll just say that. That's not a random number, but it isn't exactly what I paid to each one of these organizations. And I still don't have the ability to stream movies. That's fine. Make an organization so that I can stream movies, but make it simple, fast, logical, easy access, right? A lot of people would pay. I would. I'd be setting up one of my things here. One of my categories is entertainment. I've got a thing called continuity report. The continuity report is all about reviewing, watching movies, and then talking about those movies and finding all of the holes that are in the continuity of the movie. Right? So I have this. These are all shows that I want to launch and host or co-host. And I want to do 50 hours a week of this, right? 51-hour shows. I think it would be awesome. I'm going to refresh just to show you that there's news being ingested all the time. All of this should change. Look, it does. It's categorized. Right? But I do a little snippet, and I encourage everybody who might stumble across my VOD and go over to ohmTown.com and become a citizen of ohmTown. You click on the link. It takes you to the article. It's just a little snippet. I want to drive traffic over to the source of that article. In this case, it's New York Times. Pay them if you want minimal ads and access to unlimited articles. And you can read about a Sherlock Holmes mystery at the Grolier Club. I don't think it's Grolier. I think it's Grolier Club. Don't hold me to that, though. I'm not a linguist. I know a little bit about a lot of things, but not a lot about just one thing. There's other people for that. And those are the people that I want to have on my show, right? So if you're interested in it, and if you have something to say, throw it in chat. Maybe I can put you on the channel. I think that would be a great event. Come on and talk to me live. Ask questions. Feel free to stop by. But what I'm not going to do is stream a movie that I don't have the rights to do. If I'm not allowed to stream a movie, I'm not going to stream a movie. But speaking of movie, I watched this movie today. I've seen it in the past. It's called Paycheck. It's a Philip K. Dick short story. And it has Ben Affleck and Uma Thurman and Aaron Eckhart, Paul Giamatti. Pretty much everybody's invisible in the rest of this show. Almost everybody. Oh, and it's a John Woo film, so it was directed by John Woo. But it posed an interesting question, one that is associated in some way to, where is it? There it is. It's under education, but I have this show called Temporology, and it's about the study of time and time travel. Seriously, that's what it is. Temporology is actually a term that I first heard associated with Russian researchers who were studying time and time travel. And doing another dive into this, I found out that it is a real study, and that people like first-person shooter game players, right? Fighter pilots and others in high-intensity, high-energy fields. And by energy, I mean action, not nuclear physics. But they observe time at a different rate than the sedentary mayor of ohmTown. I was faster in my younger years. Anyway. But in this particular instance, it's kind of like the movie Deja Vu. But in this case, he is contracted to reverse engineer some technology, and he has a buddy that owns a company who contracts him for another gig without telling him anything about it, but says you'll get 8 digits. And so he takes the gig with some story preceding it so that he can, it ramps up the idea of regret. Should I do the gig, or should I go and stay and get closer to this woman that I just met? Well, he takes the gig, but each of his gigs is predicated on the idea that his memory is wiped at the end of the gig, so that there is no way to benefit short of the payment from his work for X, Y, or Z company, whatever it might be. It's a great idea, great premise. And like Deja Vu, there is the ability to look into the future by using for this particular instance, it's lasers and a lens, and being able to bend a laser so that you can see into the future. It's an interesting idea, right? Do you think that we have the ability? Will we ever have the ability? And if we do, how would it be used? What kind of abuse would happen? Because for whatever reason, we tend to take, not we as in everybody, but we tend to take what we are given and then push. You've heard the adage, give an inch, take a mile, that kind of thing, right? Well, that's kind of what this is. This person does the reverse engineering of the time travel device, looking into the future. And however it happens, they seem to be able to focus it onto a newspaper, and the newspaper tells of a future story that, if it doesn't change, leads to ruin. And not just to his ruin, it's to the entire world. And I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but without a doubt, there are no twists and turns. Just reading a small blurb about this, what seemed like a breezy idea for an engineer to net him millions of dollars leaves him on the run for his life and piecing together why he's being chased. Tells you nothing. But within the first 5 minutes of the movie, you're like, oh, okay. I get it. So it's not a deep movie, but it's a fun watch. I'm not quite sure why it's this close up on his eyeballs, but it is what it is. So would you do that? Would you reverse engineer a product or create a product that allows you to look into the future And if you look into the future and you see that the world is going to be ruined by your creation, would you continue with it? We have a history of knowing exactly what will happen if we utilize the things that we create for their intended purpose, right? I'm going to pivot real dark here in just a second. You might be able to predict what I'm about to say, much like I could tell what this movie was about within 5 minutes. We built an atom bomb capable of decimating entire cities. The people who created it called it expensive, but the accounting wasn't really in the people. It was actually in the dollars spent. So its intended purpose is to destroy, right? And we still went through with it. The results of which were disastrous and long lasting. And in an interesting turn of events, we sent U.S. engineers to help rebuild the economy and the ability to manufacture and many other things. And that facilitated a cultural shift. And we dropped 2 bombs on a country. The only people to drop 2 bombs on a country. Out of an offensive, right? Several have detonated their own nuclear arsenal in their own spaces, willingly trying to figure out how to build a bomb. But would you keep it? If you were the manufacturer of this time travel device where you could see into the future, would you keep it? Maybe not if it led to global ruin. Now, I'm not going to get into the ramifications of not dropping a bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That has been discussed again and again, largely with temporal relevance, right? So nowadays, would we do it? I suspect not. Back then, the idea of a protracted bloody war was not high on the yeah, let's do it list. It wasn't the bucket list of a lot of people, so we dropped 2 bombs. Let's hope that there are other people out there that have even more level-headed minds that say, let's not do that to somebody else. Because you never know when it might be us or you, wherever us or you are, whoever us or you are. It's not unheard to think one person's terrorist is another person's freedom fighter. It all depends on which side of the fence you're on. That's one of the things that we talk about here in ohmTown on Twitch. Not necessarily across all of ohmTown, but during these shows, I talk about 3 main things: business, technology, and society. There is a approximate parallel to it called STS, which is Science, Technology, and Society. It's a major area of research. It's a major area of study in colleges. If you are interested in how science and technology and society merge together, then it's an interesting field to you. Go and study it and get to know how we all interact using technology. I focus on the business side because Science has myriad categories, and there are subject matter experts way beyond my knowledge and experience in science. But business is amongst that field, but not the same level as physics. It's a different mechanic, and it's largely a numbers game. So when you start peeling back the layers of onion, the onion layers, you'll end up realizing that business is math and technology and society merged together. So with ohmTown, we talk about these kind of topics, time and time travel. We talk about how society is being impacted by technology, how technology impacts society. I didn't mean to make a pun out of the impact of society and we dropping bombs on another country, but there you have it. And then I like to go down this list. So what do you think? What would be an interesting article to talk about? Sherlock Holmes mystery. We already clicked on that link. Fifth victim possibly linked to shopping cart killer as police identity? Two others? Identifying two others. Typo. Wow, 5 dead, 20 missing after cliff collapses on tourist boats. Unbelievable. It's one of those things when you're out in nature and something catastrophic happens. There was one where a volcano erupted and the pyroclastic cloud flowed down the volcano and killed and hurt many of the tourists that were literally on the edge of the volcano, and not to mention the boats that were around this island. You have to be careful of nature and treat it with respect. Stay well away from things that might do you harm. In other words, don't go running up to pet the cheetah. You can't run fast enough to get away. We heard about this yesterday. Netflix developing a Scott Pilgrim anime. I wonder how that's going to come out. We shall see. MMORPG Lost Ark introduced in Welcome to Arkesia trailer. A 5-minute overview of everything you'll find in this MMORPG. If you go over to rpgsite.net, you'll be able to find it there. Obviously, it's a YouTube video, so you could go straight to YouTube and just do a search for Welcome to Arkesia. I'm not going to play it. I want you to go over to rpgsite.net and watch it on your own. Come back to ohmTown. Come back to the ohmTown on Twitch channel. Come back and talk about it. But you can explore the gameplay of the new MMO action RPG Lost Ark. I've already got my purchase in place. I'm just waiting for it. I took part in their open betas. Thought it was fun. We'll see what happens. How expansive it is. How open world it might be. The betas were a little bit limited in what I could do in the time frame that I had to do them. Maybe you'll dig it. Fox News continues tops ratings for coverage on January 6th. Anniversary events. This is a link to The Hill. top ratings for coverage of the anniversary events for the Capitol 6. The January 6th Capitol riot on Thursday, beating competitors such as CNN and MSNBC. Everything's a competition. Garnered 1.6 million total viewers as cable news highlighted the... See now, cable news. That is not what these stations are. It's not news. It's commentary. But it's not news. I wouldn't say that I am providing news. I'm providing commentary. I am promoting you going and consuming this material so that you can see it for yourself, but I want you to come back and make comments. But it's not news that is going around here. This is just bits of information. News is, it's not a competition. News is information. News is data that if you can apply it becomes information. Data without context is data. Information without context is data. So when you have context, when it is actionable, it becomes information. What was the context of that Fox News, quote unquote, news, or MSN, quote unquote, news? It's always social commentary. It's not just providing it in a neutered way without some bias. There's always some bias. It's unnerving that news has bias. And if you minimize the bias when you're presenting the news, when you're presenting the facts. It shouldn't be tainted in a way where you can actually go, oh, you're on this side or that side. Just say what's going on, right? A bunch of people stormed the Capitol on January 6th. There is more to it, and you can see who and what they are when you dig into the news, when you get more information, right? But when you can watch two streams of information and one is tilted this way and one is tilted that way, it can be unnerving when you think about it. You know, we're being pitted against each other for ratings and money. And it's not ironic. Whoa, I just highlighted half my page. You can't see my cursor, but I highlight certain things as I scroll down the thing. Right, so it's not ironic that a Asian immigrant attacked in hate crime last year died, and I just get a news blurb about Capitol riots. FAA lists 50 airports that will have 5G buffer zones ahead of C-band expansion. If you haven't heard about this, 5G is the next iteration of cellular communication. It's supposed to be faster, more secure. Is it going to make a difference in your world? Maybe. Is there more to it? And it's, causing us to hear voices in our head? And is it causing us damage? Well, any radiation ultimately does. But don't take that as 5G is the end of society. But they're actually pausing the rollout of 5G a little bit, gathering more data. It'll still come out. Canon ink cartridges become an unexpected chip shortage victim. I can feel that because I have a large format photo printer. And to replace the ink right now is somewhere around $400, $500. Wow, that is a punch right to the grunion, let me tell you. Replacing some cartridges and it costs you $500 doesn't make you feel good about that purchase, let me tell you. And considering the cartridges can just spoil right there in situ in the printer. You haven't printed anything for a month and you have to spend half of the printer's existence cleaning it, because you can't just take it out and clean the contacts. You have to let it do its power cleaning, which uses like 10% or more of the ink, and then it fails and you have to do it again. And then you do the power one, and the power cleaning requires like a third of it. I'm not really sure what the numbers are, but I'll be changing my printer at some point. The Webb telescope deployed everything, so now it is a fully operational telescope. I fought the urge to say Death Star, but that's not what it is. It's supposed to be looking for Death Stars. But you go visit the source, and it's at abcnews.go.com. I think this is awesome. The James Webb Space Telescope. I hope we get some spectacular pictures. Ugh, they're going to be awesome. And going to be not so the Hubble went out, but had to have a pair of spectacles installed so that it could see properly. This one isn't like that, and it will be a better view, cleaner view, higher resolution, and be able to see deeper, which is going to be spectacular. So can't wait. We will see what the first images are of what it produces, what it sees, what it picks up. So click the link and go over to ABC News and check it out, and then come back, make your comment. Did you get any presents associated with gaming this year? You know who wants to know? Oh my goodness, it didn't do it. Let me back up. I may have lost my place there. But if you got any presents this year, stop by ohmTown and make a post. Stop by my stream tomorrow, 6 o'clock Eastern, and make a comment. Ask your questions in chat if you're here. If you watch the VOD, then come back on any day, 6 o'clock. I should be here. I try not to miss it. But I just started on the 1st of this year doing a steady stream, at least 1 hour. So PC Gamer asked the question, did you get any gaming presents last year? Yeah, actually I gifted Steam gifts to a few people, and I bought some for myself. What they all are, I don't know. I'd have to pull up my Steam account and take a look. Nothing amazing, I don't think. I didn't want to get into Halo Infinite. Halo, the PvP side of Halo, I'm not too into. I'm not into PvP games, really. I like builder games. Open world games. You know, I think they're really, I don't really play PvP games anymore. I used to, but not so much anymore. But follow this link, go over to PC Gamer, and find out what they're writing about. Didn't get any gaming. Chris Livingston, the features producer, didn't get any, but he got a new Yeti mug. I got a Yeti mug. And a Camelback. you'll find out if, by going over to PC Gamer, you'll be able to read the various people at PC Gamer tell about what they got. Then you can come back, post a message, post a little reply. This is an interesting article. Newswatch. Employees have more leverage right now. Millions of Americans are quitting their jobs. Should you stay or go? So this is in the Stock Marketeers, which is a stock show and basically talking about the stock market, but not giving really advice. It's just kind of talking about the ins and outs and the news related to a stock, talking about that particular business, things like that. So in the little snippet that my aggregator put together, in recent months, the gap between what Americans could earn from switching jobs widened as labor shortages persisted. Well, in this day and age, it comes down to the fact that people really shouldn't have to drive for hours of their existence to a job. Unless, of course, that job is manufacturing, wherein you have to have your hands on an object. And then obviously that's the problem. You have to be there. So of course you're going to be stuck in traffic. But if everybody were teleworking, not only would there be fewer issues, but people would benefit from having the ability to get a drink and go pee and take a nap if they need to, and not spend hours in traffic. And if anything has shown us over the last 24 months of COVID, a little bit of infrastructure in place, and yeah, you can do it too. A lot of people can do it. There will always be terrestrial jobs where you have to show up to do them. Sure. But traffic would lighten up. People would enjoy their existence a little more because they wouldn't be stuck in traffic. When it snows, I-95 won't turn into a nightmare-fueled Christmas because people are jam-packed in their cars, wedged into each other because people sped through icy roads with zero visibility. Shocker, I know, right? But that's what happens. When a society, and society is that term, society isn't everybody necessarily. You can have a small society, right? A small group of people is a microcosm of society. And there are in-groups and out-groups and drivers of that particular microcosm, like I said. But when an entire business is on lockdown because of COVID, and they still develop a continuity of operations plan, implement it, get everybody operational in a remote environment, strike up a VPN and allow remote access to the infrastructure that used to be in the enterprise, on the campus, whatever it might be. And when I refer to campus, even Apple refers to their facility as a campus. It doesn't have to be an academic thing. But when you have the ability to allow people to telework 99% of the time, okay, maybe they can show up once every other week just to check in and ask something, blah, blah, blah. Even then, I think that's a joke. You don't need people to come in. The difference here is people will be able to spend that extra time networking socially, right? Find something else to do. Obviously, during COVID, You can't do that because you have to stay 6 miles away from each other and live in relative obscurity, lest you run the risk of being one of the positivity stats, right? We're looking at something like 30% across the nation. Let's see. Is that still standing? I think it is. Yeah, well, positivity is crazy. So people are getting COVID still. Is it killing as many people? No. In the grand scheme, I mean, it's a lot of people. It isn't just the flu. It isn't just a slight cold. It isn't just wash your hands. It's get a clue. Take the vaccine. Even with the vaccine, wear a mask. Be conscientious of the people around you. This world isn't just about you. But people are quitting their jobs. They're realizing that, I shouldn't have to cost my health. It shouldn't cost my health to get a paycheck. And I'm not getting hazard pay to show up during the pandemic. Others are. Some are. I mean, some people are getting paid handsomely to actually show up for work because they have the bargaining power to dictate that. So click that link and then go over to Market Watch and read the article and then come on back. Vote it up, vote it down, make a comment. Let me know how you feel about the show. Let me know what you think about the site. We're coming up on my hour already. Chicago Teachers Union proposes keeping classes remote until January 18th, eases testing demands. I agree. I don't think that your education should risk your health. I've gotten into these conversations where people say, well, I mean, you could get hit by a car on the way to school or work. Yeah, you can. Guess where you can't get hit by a car with as many odds? Teleworking, staying home. So stay home for class, for work. When everything shakes out, yes, I understand the economy takes a hit and all of that kind of stuff, but if it's possible, stay home. If it is absolutely impossible because of your job or whatever it is that you do, then so be it. Go to work. I understand. I promote that. But you will be risking your health. The more people around you, the more you risk your health right now. But I'm not risking my health. I will not get hit by a car. I'm actually 30 feet up. So unless it's a flying car, I'm not going to get hit. At any rate, I'm being rather facetious about a lot of this, but the sentiment is there. I want you to stay happy and healthy and employed. So cheerlead teleworking if you can. And if 24 months of being on various forms of lockdown has taught us anything, then it's taught us that we've had the ability to telework with ease just by accepting the fact that people aren't going to be sitting in a seat and they're not going to be spending hours traveling to their gig. And people will be able to enjoy their extra free time. And maybe, just maybe, people will return to movie theaters and malls and other places once COVID calms down and people still have the ability to telework. Wouldn't that be amazing? I want to go and meet more people. So I'm going to go to movies and malls and restaurants and other social places. And because I don't have to sit in traffic, I don't have to wait until only Friday night and Saturday. That would be amazing. More people with more free time, they will spend more, they'll consume more, they will socialize more. And I predict that they'll do it in person. If we keep paying the same or more, we really need to start paying more. We accept that profit margins be less so that we can pay people more, because it's kind of the circle of life. Not really, it's the circle of money. The economics of it is, if you pay more people more money, they spend more and you get more. That's just how it is. Because hanging on to it, can't take it with you. Anyway. So today I went through only a page. Kevin Smith recalls writing failed Superman movie for Ben Affleck. He's built like a hero. You'll have to come over to ohmTown and click that link to tell me if the article that it's talking about is referring to Ben Affleck as being built like a hero, or if he's referring to Superman, or the embodiment of that script being built like a hero. I think I'm done for the night. I'm Merwatt of ohmTown. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. If you can, find a way to follow me. That would be great on Twitch. I'm trying to get to affiliate and then partner and expand my time frame so that I can do deeper dives into the news and information that my aggregator gets. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It is grinding away to obtain information that I consume each day. I do it for me, and now I've opened it up for everybody else. So swing on by ohmTown.com after you've done everything that you want to do on Twitch. Don't be shy. Come on back. Chat with me in chat.